There we go. We're starting it. Who's absent today? That's that guy. She's there. Cool. This is Math 1. Today's date is the 20th, 2/20/2020. Ooh, 2/20/2020. That's kind of a cool one, right? 2/20/2020. And we're looking at the explicit geometric, simplifying the explicit geometric formula. All right, so here's how it works. Actually, give me the learning goal, Jordan. Are you there, Jordan? With the learning goal, Jordan?
I can use exponential functions to model real-life situations.
How about Taryn, the Y statement?
Functions show up in science and economics. I want to understand how they are used.
Yes. So here is an explicit, or here's a geometric series. So let's write this down. Geometric 4/8. Cool. And we're going to create the explicit formula for this. Can you go into your notes and find me the generic, explicit, geometric, or is it living in your brain? Jackson, what is it? Lives in his brain.
A sub n.
A sub n?
This is a geometric formula.
Geometric.
Equals a sub n. Wait a second. A sub n minus 1.
So we're doing an explicit, not a recursive. So n minus 1 is for recursive.
It's the d is.
It's not going to have a difference because this is going to have a ratio. Okay, I'm going to go to JJ. Hey.
T sub n equals T sub 1. And the common ratio squared to n minus 1.
Raised to the n minus 1. Good. You might have it in T sub 1s. I have it in A sub 1s. It's all the same stuff. So let's build the function for this. Boom. I need the value of the first term. So A sub n equals, Chris, what's the value of the first term? 4. Chris, what's the ratio? 2 and to the n minus 1. We have built the explicit for this. But there's a way to simplify this thing down. And that's what we're about to do. There's not a lot of simplification, but we can actually change this into, ready? You don't have to put this in your notes yet, but A sub n equals 2 to the n. That and this are the same function. This is just a simplified version of this. But Maddie's looking at me in disbelief. She says, no, Mr. Barr, those are very different. They probably don't even work. Well, let's see, Maddie. If I plug in a 1, what should come out? A 4, okay. 1 minus 1. 2 raised to the 0 power times 4.
4.
Okay, over here. Plug in a 1. Ready? 2 to the first power. 2 times 2.
4.
But Trent's looking at me and saying, Mr. Barr, yeah, that worked for that one with Maddie, but I bet it doesn't work for the second term. Let's try the second term. Ready? What should be the value? 8 should come out. Plug in 2. 2 minus 1. 2 to the first. Times 4. Okay. 2 to the second. Times 2. But Presley is like, no, Presley, no, okay. Yes, Mr. Barr, it worked for the first term and the second term, but the third term, no way it's going to work there. Okay, here we go, Presley. 3 minus 1.
2.
2 squared.
4.
Times 4.
16.
Third term. 2 to the third.
8.
Times 2.
16.
Are you convinced that this and that are doing the same thing? So now how do I get from this to that? And that's the question. How did I take this guy and simplify it down to that guy? I'll listen to Greenlee.
Are you replacing the A1 into A0?
I am.
And then you're
So what's really happening right here, this is a sub 0, and instead of using an a sub 1, I'm using a sub 0. I'm taking one step back, and I'm dropping off, ready? This little -1, what's a -1 do? It takes me one step back.
So you're already taking that step.
So I'm already taking that step back, so I don't need to take a step back. So I'm taking a step back right here to a sub 0, which means I don't have to take the step back with a -1. This is saying, kind of, if we go back to yesterday, this is kind of meaning previous term a little bit. It's not in this context, but a little bit, right? Previous. So instead of saying previous, I'm just using the previous. So what I'm going to do here is, yeah, so what we're doing here, let's put this in our notes. Use a sub 0. And drop the -1. Good job. Yes. We're going to do some whiteboard work, but we're going to come back to the notes in a moment. So get out a whiteboard and a marker. Way to go, Jordan. Way to go. Way to go, Nico. Way to go. Way to go, Jeff. Way to go. Way to go, Jordan. Way to go. Way to go, Custody. Way to go. Way to go, Maddie. Way to go. Way to go, Chris. Way to go. You can use your marker.
I'll bring my marker.
I won't be here tomorrow. Way to go, Jordan. Way to go.
I'll just use it.
Way to go, Jordan. Way to go.
Yes.
Way to go. Way to go. Way to go. Way to go. Alright. First thing I want you to do is I want you to create the explicit formula for this. Explicit, not simplified, normal explicit formula for this. Yes. Yes, borrow one off my board. Make sure I get it back. Don't take a black one. Those are my favorites. Don't take a black one. You are creating the unsimplified. You need your ratio. Okay. Hold on to that for a second. You need the value of the first term. Show me, Chris. Good. You simplified it. I don't want to simplify it yet.
Oh.
So you actually have to plug this in right here. That's it. Plugging it in. Okay. Not ready for that simplified one yet. All right. So what I have is this. Now we're going to simplify it down. The goal eventually is, now that you have it, is to simplify it without looking here. But I'll still let you look there. Eventually, I don't even want to show. I just want to give you the formula and have you simplify it, as opposed to starting with this.
Oh.
But because some of you are about to look at, okay, I need to go find the 0 term, right? Are you finding the 0 term up here, or are you finding the 0 term down here? What are you doing? I'm not asking you like what do you want to do. What are you doing? You went up here, correct? So who is looking up here to find the 0 term? And that's fine. We're going to do 4 like that. Eventually, we're going to be able to find the 0 term without looking up here. You're going to look right here and find the 0 term. We're not there yet, but we're going to get there today. So now give it to me simplified.
Oh, they can just erase it.
It sounds like a Star Wars.
It sounds like Star Wars, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Penguin? 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 Penguin?
I wish I could make my
Penguin?
Penguin.
Yeah.
Penguin? 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 Good. 10, 2, N. Next one. Build me the unsimplified explicit. So you need the value of the first term and the ratio. What's going on each time? Second term over first term. Good, I'll take that. That looks good, that looks good. Good, hey, good, good. Good.
Just save that and then use the.
Good. Good, Chris. That looks good. It should be a 2, right? This isn't going, am I multiplying by 2, multiplying by 2? I'm multiplying by a half, multiplying by a half. Simplify it. This doesn't sound like a language. 200, 1 half n? Nah. That looks good. That looks good. JJ. That looks fine. We're looking for, normally this is going down by half, right? So 155, so we'll get 100, 200.
That would be fun.
200, and we happy with that?
Yep. Wait, what?
Okay. What did this guy start with? 100, 1 half n minus 1?
Yeah.
Okay. It was 100, 1 half n minus 1. That became 200, 1 half. And give me the one that was right in front of this, number 1. Go back one slide and tell me what it was. The thing in number 1.
Number 1.
What was the original?
22 in minus 1.
22?
20
times
parentheses.
2 n minus 1. That became 10 2n. 10 to n? 10 to n. Got it, okay. Good. Do number 3 for me. Create the explicit unsimplified.
It's gonna be hard to.
Unsimplified. That looks good. That looks good. 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 No.
What?
It starts with the first term. You're already trying to simplify.
I knew that.
10, 3 minus 1.
There. I did the simplified version first.
Actually, but yours wasn't it wasn't simplified because you
Because
still
I
have the
did
negative
the
1.
yeah.
All right. Listen. When you simplify it, it's going to go decimal. Round it to the nearest tenth. Round it to the nearest tenth. I'm not looking at that. Round it to the nearest tenth. 3.3. Bad rounding. Good. Rounding. Boom. I don't need that since I've rounded it. 3.3. Nope, you round it to the nearest whole number. I want you to put in every 10. It takes it to 3.3. 3.3. 3 to the end. Number 4, Nico. A 3? TBA. TB9. TBB. My baby.
We should make an air freshener smell like extra one. Because I love the smell of it. It smells pretty good.
Right, number 4, give it to me unsimplified.
That's what comes out tomorrow.
Does this start with 8?
Good.
The last.
Way to go. Way to go.
Oh, I saw that.
I got it. No
But I
simplified.
just didn't watch any of them.
Good.
I've watched it since I was
I've watched it.
like
Like, I mean, I've watched it.
Is that a whistle around
It's
here?
like my favorite shows.
It is.
Where'd you get it from?
It's a USB drive.
It's like a whistle.
Good.
Oh, but how do you USB drive here? You can't touch the end of it.
Plug it in.
Oh, yeah.
You know USB?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, USB drive.
Something else.
USB drive. 8.1.2.
Stop, don't laugh at me.
So I have it as 8, 1.2 to the n minus 1. All right, simplify it.
Did you round to the nearest?
Let's take it to the nearest tenth again. The ratio shouldn't change. The ratio is the ratio. The ratio shouldn't change.
That's what I got.
No, look,
Oh.
the ratio didn't change, the ratio didn't change, the ratio didn't change. The ratio should not
Oh.
change. The ratio is the ratio.
Me too.
I disagree with your rounding. Yes, yes. I disagree with your rounding. Yes, 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 yes.
I know, me too.
Yes.
I switched those.
Yes, you switched them.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yes,
I switched it.
yes, yes.
Does it yield?
I disagree with your rounding. You put it at 6.6. 6.666. How's that round? Good. No. Let's get that. That's your round.
You guys like the quickest lesson of your I'm actually okay with this. This is pretty easy. Yesterday I did more of that. I did the first week.
Come back to this.
But I didn't understand.
The question now is, how do I do this when this is all I'm given? So imagine I can't see this. So what's normally happening here? This is normally 100. What was the next term in this? 50, right? Because it's 100 times a half. Right? What's the next term in this? 40, because it's 20 times 2. What's the next term in this? 30, because it's 10 times 3. What's the next term in this? Okay. So if I multiply I multiply by 2, I multiply by 2. So if I want to go backwards, what should I do?
Divide.
Divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. If I look at this guy, what am I doing here? Multiply by a half, multiply by a half, multiply by a half. How do I go backwards? Divide by a half, divide by a half, divide by a half. So to get here, ready? 100, to go forward, multiply by a half. To go backwards, divide. 100 divided by 1/2, 200.
Sorry.
Normally I'd be multiplying by 2 to go forward. To go backwards, what do? Divide by 2. To go forward, I multiply by 3. To go backwards, what do? Divide by 3. To go forward, I multiply by 1.2. To go backwards, I divide by 1.2. I'm going to put an unsimplified function up there. You simplify it.
Wait, it's 4.
No, we'll do one at a time. I'm just getting things ready. Start with this one. Simplify this thing down. Nope. Good. Nope. You guys went the wrong direction with it. Normally I'd be multiplying by a half to go forward. To go backwards, I divide by the half.
Smart.
Good. 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 Good.
5600.
Good. Okay. Good. Happy with that?
Yeah.
Good. Normal. So the next term going forward would be 150, but the term going backwards would be 600. 600, 1/2 to the end. Okay, this one. Going backwards, rounded to the nearest tenth. $60, you went the wrong direction with it. If I was going forward, the next term would be 60, but I'm not going forward, I'm going backwards. Bad rounding? Do you still have an n-1, get rid of -1? Good, 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 good. Right here? 27, 3 to the end. Okay. Make sure you think about, hey, what would it look like going forward? What's it going to look like going backwards one step? So going forward, you guys are going, okay, you're correct, you are incorrect. Look at each other and talk to each other. Good, good, good to each other. Good, 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 good. What I'm doing is I'm doing a 90 divided by a 1/3. 90 divided by 1/3 takes me into a 270. 1/3 to the end. This one, do a little bit of rounding on it. I don't know what it's going to round to. Oh, there's really? I picked a number that worked out perfectly? Oh my, I planned that. I'm so brilliant. 5 over 6 to the end. Good. That's good. Sometimes I'm just amazing. Mr. Barre, amazing. 5, 1, 2,
Like, isn't it like 10 years when, like, you're going to retire or something? When we're retired, there's these videos to look back on.
I
It's
know,
so
that's
funny you are.
how awesome I am. When I'm sitting around that swimming pool, Cabo, sipping on my little fruit drink, I'll be watching these videos. Yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. What is this, 3? What was it?
It's
5 to the 1.6, raised to the end. There it is. Homework is in Edulastic. Follow the instructions.
Yeah, there's also the first question is like to understand that you know what the instructions
It says, yeah,
are.
do you understand the instructions?
You understand that you have to do it in your notebook.
Hey. Where's the
Understand.
I changed my mind. It's not going to be Cabo anymore. I want to be like some island. No, I think Bahamas.
No, what about, like Kauai,
You know what? Maybe it'll just be like,
your backyard.
you know, I do like
In your backyard.
Haiti.
Just forget about the short hair.
No,
That's what I would do.
not gonna go retire to Haiti. Well, Iceland.
What
What about Switzerland?
Yodele.
Oh.
Ricola.
Sipping like your martini on the beach. You're like,
It's not a martini.
your fruity drink.
It doesn't have anything adult in it. You could have the same fruity drinks. There's nothing.
You're
Yeah, you know
out
you
on
can
the
order
beach on
pina
your
colada
towel
with
with your
that.
umbrella.
Yeah,
and
it's
your
called
sunglasses.
like pineapple juice with coconut in it.
Mr.
It's good.
Barre, I get to be like sitting on the beach with your fruity drink and your sunglasses and your poncho and your
Oh
big
my
hat.
God.
I have a poncho on. I like that idea a
I
lot.
can see it.
I could say, yeah.
All right, guys, get going on this.